Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're plunging into a really challenging and vital issue, the latest developments surrounding Gaza in the Middle East. Our understanding for this deep dive comes from a recent BBC News video transcript, which, gives us a focused snapshot of the intense pressures and movements shaping events right now. Our mission today isn't just to report headlines. We're going to try and sift through the military actions, the growing protests, and the negotiation stalemates, really try to help you grasp the core dynamics at play, uncover what's truly driving this rapidly evolving situation.
It's definitely a landscape of simultaneous escalation and at the same time mounting calls for a resolution. It's quite paradoxical. We'll focus on understanding not just the what, but maybe more importantly the why, the underlying tensions and the, entrenched perspectives that make finding common ground so incredibly challenging.
Okay, so let's start with the immediate situation on the ground then. We've seen the Israeli army issue new evacuation warnings. These are for large parts of Gaza City and northern Gaza, which means, countless families were once again forced to pack up and move south just last night.
Yeah, and what's significant here, beyond the immediate displacement, which is obviously huge, is the strategic implication. These orders were delivered in Arabic, directing civilians to specific areas. And, historically, such widespread evacuation orders often precede a new phase of intense military operations.
So like a precursor to something bigger.
Exactly. The pattern signals that, from the Israeli perspective, the conflict is very much active. And they seem to be preparing for further substantial actions in these northern areas, indicating, no immediate halt to the fighting is planned.
And the human cost in the meantime, it's just devastating.
According to figures from Gaza's health ministry, at least 81 people were killed and more than 400 injured. And that's just in Israeli strikes over one 24-hour period ending Saturday afternoon. These strikes apparently hit residential buildings, a stadium, and even a school that was housing displaced families. Just awful.
It is. And within this tragic reality, the Israeli military has also been highlighting their tactical objectives. They've announced the killing of Hakam Mohammed Isa al-Isa. They describe him as a significant Hamas military figure. They state he was instrumental in planning the October 7th, 2023 attacks on Israel, and that his death marks the targeting of one of the last remaining senior leadership figures within Hamas's military wing, following the elimination of two previous leaders. So this suggests, an ongoing focus on dismantling Hamas's command structure. Right. Yet, despite these intense military operations, we're seeing growing pressure for a deal, aren't we? To end the war and free hostages. What's striking is that for the first time in 3 weeks, thousands of Israelis took to the streets in Tel Aviv. That feels significant.
It is significant, yeah. They weren't just asking for a temporary pause or, small step. They were calling on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government to make a brave and bold decision, as they put it.
And what did that mean specifically?
Well, these protests are particularly noteworthy because they reflect a public sentiment pushing for more than just a limited exchange. The demonstrators explicitly want a comprehensive deal. That means not only the release of all remaining hostages, but also a full withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza.
A full withdrawal? That's a big ask.
It's a huge ask. It signifies a demand for a much more decisive end to the conflict than, what has been on the table so far.
And this call for a ceasefire isn't just internal to Israel, is it? We're hearing it echoed globally. Donald Trump, for instance, suggested last Friday that a Gaza ceasefire could happen within the next week. He even used social media to urge, make the deal in Gaza, get the hostages back.
Right, and the Qatari Foreign Ministry, which is, a key mediator here, they've also been encouraging both sides to capitalize on the momentum from last week's ceasefire agreed between Israel and Iran. Sort of hoping it could open a door for Gaza, perhaps.
Okay, so with all this pressure, both inside and out, why isn't a deal being reached? What are the fundamental disagreements, the sticking points?
This brings us right to the core of the impasse. It's really about the end game. Hamas has indeed signaled its readiness to release the remaining hostages. That part seems possible. But they've made it very clear this is conditional. Conditional on a deal to permanently end the war.
Permanently.
Yes, and for Israel to commit to pulling all its troops out of Gaza. Fully out.
Which, for Israel, that's a non-starter right now.
Seems to be, yes. Their stated aim is still dismantling Hamas's military capabilities, and a full withdrawal is seen as incompatible with that, at least currently.
And on Israel's side, what's their non-negotiable? Well, they want any deal to include Hamas completely disbanding, laying down their arms.
Exactly. Which, as you'd expect, Hamas has definitively rejected.
So it feels like two completely irreconcilable demands on the table.
Absolutely. Those are the two key, seemingly intractable sticking points right now. And, while Israeli media has reported the Israeli army telling their political leadership they are close to achieving all their goals in Gaza.
Which sounds optimistic.
It does, but the immediate reality of these widespread evacuation orders and the ongoing intense military action, well, it tells us the conflict is far from over. These fundamental disagreements on the terms of a ceasefire, they remain firmly in place. And without a shift in those core positions, reaching a comprehensive deal remains incredibly challenging.
So today, we've navigated this really complex, sometimes paradoxical landscape of recent events in Gaza, from the Israeli military's strategic evacuation orders and their stated objectives, to the mounting pressure from within Israel and also the international community for a hostage deal. And we've also tried to illuminate the very real fundamental disagreements that continue to be the primary obstacles to any potential ceasefire.
Yeah, understanding all these intertwined elements, the military strategy, the absolutely devastating humanitarian impact, the public and international pressure, and crucially, these entrenched negotiating positions, it's all vital for grasping the full picture of this conflict. It's not simple.
No, definitely not. We hope this deep dive has offers you maybe a clearer perspective on what is a rapidly evolving and deeply consequential situation.
And as you reflect on all this, maybe consider this thought something to mull over. If the Israeli military genuinely believes it's close to achieving all goals in Gaza, as reported, and yet both sides continue to hold firm on demands that are, right now, non-starters for the other, then what does this recent large-scale evacuation order truly imply about the next phase of the conflict? What might be the real immediate objective behind such a significant movement on the ground?